live in a world that can break you down. We're all fighting battles the world can't see. But what if healing wasn't about pretending to be perfect? Healing starts the moment you stop pretending you're fine. Welcome to Help the People. Help the People is more than a podcast. It's a movement. A space for truth, for healing, for conversations that rebuild what life tried to destroy. Because kindness knows no enemy.
There are moments in life that divide your understanding about what it is to be human and to before and after. Moments that force you to ask questions bigger than the psychology of a person, bigger than their religion, bigger than their pain. Today's episode is about two brothers. One brother burned over 80% of his body. The other was shot 6 times and became paralyzed from the waist down. One rebuilt his life. The other eventually died by suicide. I carry those two realities side by side in my chest, trying to understand how two people could survive a catastrophic trauma and yet emotionally arrive in completely different places. This episode is not about judgment. It's not about strength versus weakness. It's about resilience, trauma, hope, meaning, and what happens to the human spirit after life changes forever. This is Help the People, and this episode is called Two Brothers, Two Traumas, Two Different Outcomes. People often think trauma is the event, the fire, the shooting, the accident, the assault. But trauma is much deeper than the moment itself. Trauma is what happens afterwards. It's what happens in the nervous system, in identity, in memory, in relationships, in hope. My brother, who suffered severe burns, survived something unimaginable. The pain alone is hard for me to comprehend. The surgeries, the skin grafts, the isolation, and the mirror becoming unfamiliar. But what always stayed with me was not just the damage. It was what happened after. I remember him working out after the fire, still burned, still wrapped, still in pain. And something about that moment changed me, because I saw a man deciding that I'm still here. Not healed, not okay, not untouched, but still here. And sometimes resilience begins with that simple decision. Not a victory, just presence. Meanwhile, my other brother survived being shot 6 times. He lived, but paralysis changed everything. And people underestimate how deeply trauma attacks identity. From where I sit, masculinity in America is often tied to movement, independence, sexuality, work, control, strength. When trauma removes those things, people don't just grieve the injury, they grieve the loss of self. And sometimes people survive medically while emotionally disappearing in slow motion. And that's what trauma can do. Resilience is not toughness. I think we often misuse the word resilience all the time. We act like resilience means not crying, not struggling, always pushing forward. And from where I sit, that's not resilience. Real resilience is messy. Resilience theory teaches us that resilience is adaptation after adversity. Not perfection, adaptation. Some people rebuild because they find meaning, connection, purpose, support, spirituality, identity. Others slowly lose access to those things as they try to maintain or continue to be resilient. And one thing I've learned working in mental health is this: hopelessness kills, not weakness, hopelessness. When people begin to believe my suffering will never change, the world becomes dangerous internally. My brother who died by suicide was not weak. He was hurting. And we have to stop talking about suicide like it's a character flaw. Sometimes people become exhausted from carrying pain. They can no longer organize emotionally. That's why resilience cannot just be treated like an individual trait. Communities help create resilience. Love helps create resilience. Meaning helps create resilience. Purpose helps create resilience. People survive differently when they believe they still matter. One of the hardest things trauma does from where I sit is to force people to answer a terrifying question. Who am I now? Who are you after the fire, after paralysis, after addiction, after loss, after shame? And I think the brother who rebuilt his life eventually created a new identity instead of trying to recover an old one. And I think that matters. Because sometimes healing is not returning to who you were. Sometimes healing is becoming someone entirely new. In my manuscript, The Broken Bottle, I talk about how addiction wasn't just alcohol, it was survival language. I drank to silence pain, to quiet shame, to survive memories, and to function. And I eventually realized survival is not the same thing as living. That realization forced me to reconstruct myself, not perform, not pretend, to reconstruct. And trauma survivors often face the exact same task. Psychology teaches something powerful. Human beings can survive enormous suffering if they still believe their life has meaning. Meaning changes pain, not by removing it, but by giving it context. When people lose meaning, suffering becomes unbearable. That's why trauma work cannot stop at symptom management. People need dignity, belonging, purpose, spiritual grounding, connection, and hope. And sometimes what keeps a person alive is not medicine alone. Sometimes it's a child, a relationship, faith, responsibility, art, writing, community, or simply one person believing they have value. That's why I believe storytelling matters. Stories give suffering shape, and shaped suffering becomes survivable. What my brothers taught me. My brothers taught me different lessons. One taught me the human spirit can rebuild after devastation. The other taught me emotional pain can become so heavy that survival itself feels exhausting. Both truths matter, and both deserve compassion. I also learned something else. People often praise visible survivors while ignoring invisible suffering. We celebrate people who bounce back, but we don't always know what private wars people are losing quietly. That's why empathy matters. You never know who's carrying despair silently. You never know who's trying to survive another hour. And sometimes resilience looks dramatic. Sometimes it looks like rebuilding your body after burns. But sometimes resilience is smaller. Sometimes resilience is staying sober one more day, getting out of bed, asking for help, going to therapy, or deciding not to quit. I think about both brothers often. I think about fire, about pain, about survival, about hopelessness, and about resilience. And I keep returning to the same question. What helps one person continue to live psychologically after life shatters physically? I don't think there's one answer. But I do believe this. People need hope. People need connection. People need meaning. People need to be seen. And sometimes the greatest thing we can offer another human being is not advice, it's presence. Because survival is not just physical. Sometimes the real battle is whether the soul believe still that tomorrow is worth reaching for. This has been Help the People. I'm Shannon Riley. And if you're listening today carrying pain silently, just know your story is not over yet. Thank you for listening.
Dear God, for those carrying pain quietly, stay near them.
For the people exhausted by survival, bring them rest. For those struggling to believe tomorrow matters, bring them hope gently. Help us become people who offer presence instead of judgment, and remind every hurting person listening that their story is not finished yet. Amen.